that hot mess that they air in the morning called The View had to issue not one, not two, not three, but 4 corrections, legal corrections, 4 legal notes. Imagine what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side, and then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear. I mean, this is a pattern with them.
I think the problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. You know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman, and they yell over her and silence her, and, you know, they did that with Rogan Megyn.
Lots of folks believe The View controls all of daytime drama. But that idea just got knocked down hard. Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly teamed up and gave criticism so tough it upset one host really badly, leaving her shaky and trying hard to keep it together. The moment was tense, awkward, and you couldn't look away. If you believe these hosts couldn't be touched, this is your wake-up moment. That perfect picture broke right in front of everybody. Stay with us as we explain how these two totally shocked the so-called queens of daytime TV. Because what comes next is something you really won't want to miss.
There's nothing there.
Go for it.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Sometimes comics do that.
Yeah, and the other question is then, is that representative of a big constituency? I think probably yes.
Well, a lot of
MSNBC
people,
viewers are probably also thinking,
I don't even think the MSNBC viewers. I think they're a little bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world. That's the appeal that Whoopi Goldberg.
It all kicks off with a regular scene on The View, already falling into total meltdown territory. 5 grown-up women are all speaking over each other at the same time, like some crazy routine that's completely wild. Joy Behar is stuck deep in her newest early morning moral freakout. Whoopi stares to the side like she's quietly trying to solve a tough math problem in her mind. And Sunny Hostin looks like she's arguing with the simple rules of reality itself. Nobody is actually paying attention. Everybody keeps interrupting, and the audience claps loudly the second someone even hints at words like empowerment or democracy. If chaos ever had its own daytime talk show, this would be the best example you could possibly watch on screen.
Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, yay, on January 20th of this month. Not everyone's happy about it, and many people would like us to be more focused on the insurrection that he personally unleashed. If you ask them, as we discussed earlier, they think it's as bad as like the Holocaust, and you don't have to take my word for it. Here is Sunny Hostin.
January 6th was an atrocity. It's one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, you know, like World War II, things that happened, you know, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery.
Yeah, the January 6th is right up there next to the Holocaust.
Lost somewhere in all that loudness, somebody tries to finish a real thought, but it gets covered up almost right away by voices talking over each other, huge reactions, and a perfectly timed mean look from Ana Navarro that could turn milk sour on the spot. This isn't a real debate, and it's definitely not an honest talk. It feels more like group therapy, acting like it's television stacked on top of complete make-believe. The whole thing happens like a shiny echo chamber, glowing under bright studio lights. And you can almost feel the smugness floating off the screen, like a heavy cloud of thinking they're better than everyone else hanging in the air.
In fairness, though, I mean, The View has to be, you know, if you average out The View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin.
You think it's deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on, for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and you like it was totally baked, half baked, and you went on stage with it.
Then Joe Rogan, the podcast guy famous for saying what he thinks, comes in not by yelling, but with the calm, steady coolness of someone who's seen enough craziness to spot fake stuff from really far away. This is the same man who's talked to astronauts, monks, and even people who believe that shape-changing creatures secretly control the world. And still, even he watches The View and seems to think there's no way this is real television.
They're disgusting. She's Anna Navarro. In your wildest imagination, you could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate in whatever space he...
Then Megyn Kelly walks in, heels clicking like a shooter aiming at a target, walking straight toward what she's after. And the tension shoots up right away. This is the same woman that big mainstream news couldn't control. Fox thought she was too honest and blunt, and NBC realized she actually asked real tough follow-up questions. Both networks backed away like scared rookies not ready for actual pressure. Now she's got a microphone, proof of what she's saying, and a daytime TV double standards file that looks like a serious legal document. And she doesn't just criticize, she cuts through big egos with exact accuracy, stacking them on her podcast shelf like quiet smart person trophies. Together, Rogan and Kelly make a tag team so strong it could make any PR office start writing emergency talking points right away. While Joy Behar is busy checking twice how to spell authoritarian, Rogan calmly breaks down their whole argument, showing they barely look up facts about what they loudly yell about, all while laughing in that "I can't believe this is on TV" style that makes the segment look like a beginner improv comedy class at a feel-good retreat. At the exact same time, Megyn Kelly walks through their contradictions like a museum of media mess-ups, lifting one eyebrow and making The View's reputation drop by what feels like 20 points with just one look.
That hot mess that they air in the mornings, called The View, had to issue not one, not two, not three, but 4 corrections, legal corrections. 4 legal notes. We only have 3 of them on camera, but look at this.
I have another legal note. Both Trump and Pam Bondi have denied allegations of a quid pro quo. I have a legal note.
You want to take this one, Joy, or you?
That case has long denied all allegations and has not been charged with any crime.
That's true.
Also, another legal note. Pete Hegseth's lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. He has denied any wrongdoing.
Imagine what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side, and then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear. I mean, this is a pattern.
Rogan turns into the big hammer of plain simple logic, while Megyn Kelly is the surgeon's knife slicing through fake seriousness, wrong anger, and whatever Anna Navarro thinks is a strong point, until one sharp comment makes Whoopi Goldberg blink like she's trying to send secret signals to Barbara Walters' ghost. For years, The View acted like nobody could touch them, floating inside a safe media bubble, where the main job seemed to be remembering the Clinton years and acting morally superior as part of the role. That bubble finally burst the second Rogan and Kelly showed up, free from any need to impress old-school media gatekeepers, pointing out nonsense right in the open. They aren't going after shiny awards or polite clapping from brunch people. They care about being honest, or at least not acting like talking the loudest means you're right. So when they showed up carrying facts, logic, and a sharp dose of irony, The View was completely beaten. It was like showing up to a sword fight holding a toy kazoo instead of a blade. Rogan and Kelly didn't just take the moment. They completely changed the whole feel of the conversation in a way nobody could ignore. Then came the spark, the exact second when everything switched from tense to explosive. The View lit the match on a stage already covered in gasoline, pushing the show into a crazy level of chaos for a panel that usually treats facts like toppings you can skip on a salad. This time their target was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. They made fun of him, pushed away his ideas without looking at the facts, and rolled their eyes like someone asked them to explain simple stuff, showing a level of planned dislike that was well-timed but totally empty inside.
Because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
You know, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, who are just very dull-minded. But I think Sunny's not one of them. I think she's smart but captured.
Sure, I think she came into it with an agenda.
Of course.
You know,
they do everything with an agenda.
They do everything with a hidden plan. They didn't stop at just making fun of one guest. Not even close. They threw the whole idea of free speech right into the garbage, acting like any opinion that doesn't match their TV-approved brunch way of thinking is a problem that needs to disappear. Saying podcast hosts are dangerous, confusing, and somehow a threat to democracy just for letting guests finish talking on air. Then Joe Rogan gave a full explanation without making his voice loud. With that slow, steady thinking and one raised eyebrow, he cut straight through their act, taking their segment apart like a calm, careful Sunday dinner meat carving session at the table. It was exact, sharp, and quietly crushing. He showed what should have been clear as day. The hosts aren't really watching the stuff they attack. They don't check simple facts, and they aren't seriously trying to understand what they say is bad. Instead, they give out fake outrage wrapped in a thin covering of moral shine, like someone loudly talking about a movie they never actually watched, totally unaware of how silly they look. That description fits The View's style almost perfectly. It's less about teaching anybody and more about performing whatever story gets the loudest clapping from the studio audience.
Melania Trump came out and said she's about as pro-choice as they come. And here was the reaction on The View.
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all agree on that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want
She doesn't care about that.
She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Would you look? This is a network that still runs out fact checks to these women, like it's concerned about them staying factual. She hates Trump. She doesn't want to be near him. She doesn't want to be president again. She destroyed the Rose Garden, and she hates Christmas. That is what passes for news on a network. They did a presidential debate.
He didn't need cheap tricks, and he didn't use them. Rogan used their own video clips, contradictions, and even accidental funny moments to show the truth about them, lining up quotes, timestamps, and facts like an experienced lawyer giving final arguments in court. His voice never got mad. It carried the calm disappointment of a teacher who just caught the whole class cheating by copying from Wikipedia, quietly showing their laziness as he revealed how they quickly read headlines, repeat social media posts, and treat real research like it's against the rules. This wasn't anger. It was feeling sorry for them wrapped in sharp sarcasm tied with a ribbon of quiet destruction. While The View kept yelling into the air, Rogan reminded everybody that truth doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be correct. And just as the echoes of his slow-motion takedown started to disappear, Megyn Kelly stepped in with the exactness of a surgical hit. She made her tone sharper instead of louder, taking apart their segment piece by piece like a lawyer looking at a kindergarten-level paper. If Rogan brought clearness, Kelly brought proof and a blowtorch. She started by showing how almost everything is treated as rude unless it comes from them, the exact recipe that keeps The View going. One moment they panic over someone saying men can't get pregnant. The next they're laughing at political enemies like they're hosting a mean comedy roast.
I have no hate for Joy Behar. If I saw her, I'd give her a hug. I'd probably say the same thing about me if I was her. You're worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is fucking great. And Joe Rogan believes he's arrogant.
According to Megyn, free speech on The View barely happens unless it's cleaned through a panel wrapped in daytime TV special treatment. And she saved her sharpest attacks for Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin. Megyn held nothing back. Joy, basically the eye-roll symbol of the show, was called out for acting like the big guardian of progressive ideas while giving opinions that could make any real feminist cover their ears. With Sunny, Megyn cut straight through her polished lawyer-turned-daytime diva character with surgical exactness, crushing their staged moral superiority like a storm hitting a building full of double standards. She showed how the show treats any different opinion, especially from women, as betrayal, turning basic disagreement into a supposed threat to sisterhood, making the table feel like an emotional battle where the only safe answer is whatever Whoopi said a few seconds before. But the criticism didn't stop at personalities. It became surgical once the facts showed up. Here's the twist. While The View lives on emotional half-truths, Rogan and Kelly came with real research, quoting full transcripts, giving background, and actually reading past the headlines, a skill that now feels almost dead in modern media.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
On TV,
crazy.
she said
on television.
You know, look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
He could throw every Republican in jail. Yeah.
They started comparing The View's big claims against what really happened, and things got embarrassing really fast. For example, the show called a certain podcast episode dangerous, only for Megyn to show the clips and prove it was just a calm talk about nutrition and cold plunges. Hardly the stuff of national panic. Truly shocking stuff, right? Then Joy said Rogan was spreading hate, but a quick 32-second fact check proved it was just a military veteran talking about PTSD and meditation. Scary only if basic honesty frightens you. Megyn didn't just challenge them. She buried them under real background information, while Joe, steady as always, had already taken apart their whole argument almost without trying.
I don't know. Hey, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest fucking statement. Like you didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
Megyn Kelly and Joe Rogan weren't just clapping back. They were holding up a mirror. While The View polished applause cues and moral speeches, Rogan and Kelly brought facts and receipts. Remember when The View treated COVID opinions like Holy Scripture, then quietly forgot them months later? Or when they labeled candidates threats to democracy using memes and vibes? These weren't small mistakes. These were loud, confident, nationwide wrong takes. Rogan invites people he disagrees with. Megyn reads actual case files. And somehow they're the dangerous ones? That's not censorship. That's daytime TV panicking.